There are some issues I have with AI. For example, I believe there was an option that used to be on staff doors where you can have them only open for staff and not open for anyone else. Meaning the prisoners would generally not go to staff doors. But in this alpha phase, prisoners can go to staff doors and prison officers can open those staff doors and let the prisoners go through them, which is bad. So I hope that's fixed, so that either the AI automatically understands that staff doors are for staff, or you can set the doors to only open up for specific people, whether it be staff, prisoners, or both. I think that's a good idea. Whether the devs are going to go forward with that at the moment, not too sure, but you know, just an idea as to... it's just something I would personally recommend, because I'm also making this preview as an idea of sharing any thoughts that I have with the current beta phase, and also any improvements that I think could be made to the current product. Because in the end of the day, and this is now bringing up the topic of early access games and whether they're worth it or not, which is a very big subject at the moment. In my personal opinion, when it comes to early access games, if you are going to commit to an early access game, you commit to an early access game. You do not buy the game expecting it to be a complete title, and you don't buy the game expecting it to be amazing off the get-go. If you're buying an early access game, expect there to be bugs. Expect there to be problems. But expect to send your criticism in the way of the developers. Because the reason why early access exists is a way for developers to get a hold of you guys easier, let a majority of people play their game, and basically have the game whilst it's still being created, so that gamers themselves, whilst they're playing the game, can criticize how the game is working. If it's not working for you, let them know. If you found a game-breaking bug, let them know. If you find something that doesn't quite work, let them know. The developers can't make the game any better if all you're doing is playing the game and doing nothing about it. The only two early access games that I am a part of at the moment are this, Prison Architect, and DayZ, which I hope to have a preview of at some point later. Because I know a lot of people are talking about DayZ, and I want to put my own thoughts on how DayZ is currently playing out. But yes, in my personal opinion, early access, it's not for everyone, and I can perfectly understand why it's not for everyone. But if you are going to commit to buying an early access game, commit to criticizing it. Commit to getting a hold of the developers, whether it be through their forums or finding out how the developers would like for you to give them feedback, so that you can do just that. Give them your feedback, and if something doesn't work, let them know it doesn't work. Or if something's not quite right or feels a little bit awkward, let them know if it doesn't feel quite right or it feels a little bit awkward. You know, that's my stance on it. My stance completely. So you want to know what I really like about Prison Architect? I love the fact that it's just a simple... It's just a simple theme hospital style sim, you know? Obviously, I would personally love a remake of Theme Hospital on the PC. I know we've seen SimCity, but come on, we need Theme Hospital back. Theme Hospital and Theme Park World, I think we need those back in circulation. What do you think? But it's nice to have one of those, just cool, calm, you don't have to be online all the time, simulators where you can just have fun with. Like, it's just fun creating your own things, and you're creating a prison. Out of everything that you could possibly create, I never imagined that someone would go the distance and think, let's let people create their own prisons, and let them also assist in basically letting convicts live or die with electric chairs, which I think is crazily awesome. One thing I'm going to do here quickly is I'm just going to extend the electric cable from here down the path, just so that these lights will be lit up spot on, and it will help me out for later as well. But it's just a fun idea it's brought to reality. It's something you don't see every day, being able to build your own prison. And I haven't seen many people complain about, oh, it's a prison. I don't want my kid to be creating their own prison. I haven't seen anyone saying that. Which is great. Because in all honesty, a prison should be fun. It should be fun to create your own prison. So what I'm going to do here is, this is completely optional for what you can do in a yard, by the way. You can put in a few phone booths where people can phone their families. And I'm also going to put up weight benches, because they like recreation in the yard. They don't just like standing around minding their own business. Some people do, other people don't. But I'm just going to put a couple of phone booths in the yard, just so people can phone their families whilst they're chilling out with their friends. And look like that. Now our power station's online. Fantabby-dozy. A little thing to know about the power station. You see that red line? That shows how much power you currently have coming out of your power station. Keep an eye on that red line. If it goes too high, there's a chance that the power will cut out. And if the power cuts out when you have prisoners in, let's just say it's not the best thing and it can cause riots. So you want to keep tabs on your power supply. An easy way to do that is to use capacitors that will assist with giving your power station more energy to run with. Now what I'm going to do here is, I'm just going to start with 3, and early on 3 is basically all you need. But yes, power station, you need it. You can put multiple power stations down, and you can put multiple water pump stations down, by the way, but you can't connect a water pump station to a water pump station, and you can't connect a power station to a power station. They all have to run on their own individual sources of water and electricity. Keep that in mind. Because I've seen a few people either not understand it or think it's quite weird. I understand it. I can understand why people kind of think it's a bit weird. But I think it works well. It makes complete sense. So what I'm going to do here is, I am going to create another staff door, so that only staff members can enter the kitchen directly through the canteen. And we're going to start building our kitchen. So the kitchen needs a cooker, a fridge and a sink. So let's get the sink. The sink's going to need a water supply. Let's get a cooker. Wherever the cooker may be, I don't know, there's the fridge. We're going to need a fridge. And we're going to need a cooker. There it is, there's the cooker. Fantastic. So we have everything we need to go on there. As for the canteen, we need serving tables and benches. Serving tables, tables and benches. What I like to do is have a serving table there. And over here, so that your prisoners don't get congested onto one serving table. And then, grab some normal tables. I'm going to put this one a little bit more to the right. It's just going to autosave quickly. And then I'm going to slap some benches above and below them. Whoop, missed on that one. There you go. And thus, there's your canteen and kitchen basically ready to go. Now we have about 12 hours until our prisoners come in. And we're doing pretty good. We have all the fundamentals that we need to really get the game going. Now I'm going to start working on the next piece of the puzzle, which is our offices. Offices are a fundamental part of the game, and you need those in order to assist in many a thing. So I'm going to create 6x6 areas here. Just going to create a few for now. This preview isn't going to be the longest preview in the world, but I want to show you as much as possibly can. Yeah, it is playing out, so they are just going to keep building while I'm talking. That's great. So with these 3 rooms, I'm going to create 3 individual offices. So when this is complete, I will walk you through offices and staff members. Now, we can hire more workmen if we really need to, and in all honesty, you don't really want to early game. But we need to hire a warden. So I'm just going to get the warden hired and out of the way, and we also need at least 2 cooks. So we got our staff hired. Now, when you hire your cooks will then start going to work. Your cooks will go from the kitchen to the deliveries to pick up food, take them back to the kitchen and prepare the food ready for when prisoners need to eat. Which is fair enough, because that makes complete sense. As for the warden, until the warden has an office, he'll just wander around the place wondering, oh, what the heck am I supposed to do over here? Now, one thing you may realise that is a fatal flaw with my prison thus far, is it's all well and good having this fenced up, but prisoners can run around amok over here. What's up with that? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a defensive wall to help me keep these prisoners where I want them to be. There you go. Because effectively, this is how you start off your prison. And I'm going to put a fence over here, and also create another staff door and have this staff door to the south, just to make it easier for any workmen in the future to come down here and do their business, which is all well and good. So as you can see, we have the foundations of a solid starting off prison ready to go. Holding cell, shower supply, bloody hell. Shower, power supply, water supply, kitchen, canteen, and a yard. And now we're going to get the fences set up and everything else. So that's going to be nice. And so now look at this. We have these ready to go, and we have our offices. So let's create our offices, shall we? I hope I've sized this correctly. So offices need to be at least 4x4. 4x4 we shall make them. 3x4, 4x4, 4. Actually, before I do this, yes, I want to make sure the warden has a big enough office, but I don't want to make sure he takes up the entire office grounds. I want to give him his office, but then I want to cut it off. I want to cut it off so that I can make room for other offices in the near future. So now that we have a warden's office, he needs a desk, a chair, and a filing cabinet, so we can help him out with that. Let's give him a chair, give him a filing cabinet, which I'll put over here, and a desk. The workman will deliver those appropriately, and whammy! The warden has everything he needs. Very good. In the meantime, I'm going to create another office down here, and another wall. Just make sure I line this up correctly. Great. Also want to go into utilities and make sure the electricity supply is going to get to each individual room. And there you go. I am being a little sloppy here with my placements of electric cables and everything, but because this is a preview, I'm just basically showing off the core components of the game at the moment and how it stands. If you would like for me to do a full-on series of this, I will most probably live stream some Prison Architect instead, because Prison Architect is a very big game, and I normally talk to myself whilst I'm playing it, simply because I want to plan out in my head where everything goes, make sure everything looks appropriate and all that jazz. So as you can see there, the warden has everything he needs in his office, and the warden's office is now done, which is now opened up bureaucracy. Now in bureaucracy, this is basically where you can upgrade and get all sorts of stuff. So by just having the warden, we can look into health, mental health, legal, maintenance, finance, and security. For the sake of a to-do list, we just need finance. But effectively, you can go down all these different windows and you can get prison labour, which allows your prisoners to actually work in your prison, which actually makes them happy. You can unlock the chance to clone, which can help you directly copy parts of your prison and create them again. So effectively, if I was to create a gigantic cell block, I can copy and paste that cell block to another area and my workman will make it exactly how the original looks, which is very, very handy later on. You can also get land expansions, which can help you expand beyond your initial boundaries. You also get patrols and contraband for your security guards, prison policies, prison deployments, which can actually help your guards be allocated to certain sectors of your prison. You can have security dogs, and you can also get CCTV. So effectively, you do have everything you need to create a fully working, fully functional, in-your-face prison, which is awesome. Now, I'm actually going to very, very, very fast forward here. I'm probably not going to be able to get the prisoners in by the time this video comes to a close, which is a shame, because I would love to show you some of the stuff that the prisoners get up to. But effectively, ladies and gentlemen, this is Prison Architect. You have a good amount of time beforehand to make sure you have everything set up for your prisoners. Like at this moment in time, I would probably be building a gigantic cell block with individual cells all set up for any of those pesky, more serious prisoners. I would probably be working on a medical bay, a solitary confinement area, and all the little tig-bitty areas that my prison would probably require. But for today, sadly I'm not going to go that far, as I've basically shown you the core mechanics of the gameplay, how everything works, and basically my personal opinions on how fun it is. I'm also going to put 2 guards down because we've now completed what that contract was, and we basically have everything ready to go for when our prisoners arrive, which is nice. So ladies and gentlemen, this is basically Prison Architect. It's very nice. It's a very good game, which is perfectly workable right now, bearing in mind it's in Alpha Phase 16. It plays extremely well for it being in an alpha. The developers are constantly working on it, constantly updating it, constantly asking for feedback. So if you are interested in Prison Architect, be sure to grab it on Steam, and be sure that if you are going to commit to an early access, whether it be this or any other, that you are going to commit and help out with the creation of the game itself. Because if you do that, it helps the developers and it helps make the game genuinely a much better game. So thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've seen basically the fundamental parts of Prison Architect. Now that we see the prisoners coming in and just being sat in the holding cell, there's everything else you need to monetize as well, like micromanagement of your individual prisoners and all of that. But I can go over all of that in a live stream of this, or in a series of live streams of Prison Architect in the near future, which I might just do. So, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, when I preview yet another game. It's been great previewing Prison Architect. Do get it if you wish to be committed to it. Don't commit to it if you basically don't want to play a complete game. And until next time, I'm Don the Expert of Calls from VideoGamesUncovered.com, and I'll be seeing you on the other side.